doing well over and over and over. So we're going to see what this happens. And we are getting our first game. It's going to be on Frost, PVZ here, spawning in the bottom left in red. Team Vega Squadron being represented by both players, actually. He's our Protoss player, Elfi.
And his opponent in the bottom right, playing for Team Vega as well. From Britain, it's going to be the pink Sug player, JonnyREcco. And I have to say, by the way, did you watch any of the WCS EU games from the previous season?
Previous season? Well, I'm not necessarily certain. I watched some things, but my memory is pretty terrible, so remembering exactly what happened, I'm not sure. So go ahead. Make your analogy.
Basically, no, basically, I just meant that usually I've always seen elfi as maybe the only Finnish player that really counts almost. If you want to say that, you know, he's like the Finnish player. Like, I don't know, like, you know, I always consider him to be like the Finnish player. And then I realized this guy called Welmu, who's also Finnish, who is freaking amazing and got into the round of 8 and played extremely well, then facing Sun, who of course is a phenomenal player, but he got into the round of 8 in WCS EU. That is kind of a sick achievement, Welmu that is. And I think Elfi, he's been playing very well himself, and I think, didn't he get into Challenger last time? I think so, right?
I'm not certain. I can check.
I will double check for us.
I can check at some point. But actually, this matchup is a rematch from yesterday. They played, Johnny and Elfi actually played in the quarterfinals yesterday, and JonnyREcco was the victor in that one, 2-1. So they've definitely been playing each other often previously in the recent past. Not to mention the fact they are both on the same team, so there's a lot of interesting kind of meta plays that come out of this situation where you're playing a teammate and you've also played in the same exact situation in just the day prior, no less. So both players are probably going to be pulling out some build orders that may not be so standard, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Ah, this is actually cool. Just now looking at the Team Liquid page. So basically what happened was that Elfi qualified for Challenger, and he went on to face Sun, who his countrymate Welmu faced, and was kind of heavily beaten by, I have to say. Like, Sun really is amazing at PvP. Elfi went down 0-3, but to be honest, just facing Sun that early is absolutely an awful thing to happen to you. I mean, Sun, he went into the round of 4. He was like, what, top 4 players in the entire thing, and he's the one you face in Challenger. Ugh.
Yeah, it's always a sad situation when you have that happen. But I mean, a lot of players are pretty happy to get into Challenger League. But Elfi, he's been a pretty good player for a really long time. He's had some very nice finishes. I know he did some good finishes at some Dream Hacks in the past. So definitely he wants to be able to go forward with that and staying in Premier League. It's just so hard. There's so many good players on the EU server. Just getting in these types of qualifiers where we have 256 players playing almost every single qualifier, compared to the NA qualifier where it's actually split up between America, and then there's a qualifier for like China, Taiwan, and I think there's another qualifier even beyond that. So
yeah, you have the CA, I think, for Australia and Indonesia. So I mean, as I say, it's more region based in NA, while in Europe you have a lot more openness. You can just you can be from anywhere really, just as long as you're okay with the server lag that might happen. You know, Koreans, for instance, do experience a lot of server lag playing here on EU usually. But right now, just look at the builds, by the way. We do have those 2 gators in the front, the Forge a bit back here. Interesting enough, getting the Forge a bit later, so most likely we'll see that +1. He's not really looking to get any cannons, so +1 might add on 1 more gate win just to go for the +1 4-gate kind of pressure. And JonnyREcco, who didn't go for speed, no he didn't, so it looks like he just wants to go for roaches quite early on here.
Yeah, he's adding on 2 gases right now, so he will be getting up his gases relatively quickly, but this is going to be +1 from Elfi. Putting the Forge where he did, it's not exactly really hidden or anything, but it is kind of hidden. It's not on the wall where you expect to see it. It's not like somewhere in the main base. And this Overlord is not going to be able to see this, and if JonnyREcco isn't aware of +1 finishing, especially depending on how much chrono Elfi decides to put into that +1, depending on how aggressive he would like to get. He doesn't have any pylons on the map. His Overlord has been cleaning things up, but it looks like now Elfi's actually been moving out. He's got 4 sentries as well as these 2 zealots, but he may just be trying to take a 3rd base really quickly. As
yeah, that is absolutely a possibility.
You start to drop. There we go. It is going to be a 3rd base. Please don't die on me, Wiggy. No fun.
What?
You started to lag.
Oh my god. I am very, very sorry. I will make sure that... I don't even know what I can do to not make sure, but... Oh, that was Elfi.
Actually, now it's Elfi this time, so it may just be Battle.net being very rude. Actually,
it might just be.
Elfi in chat was mentioning that he was hoping he wouldn't lag, so it'll be disappointing, but I'm sure we will pick up where we left off if he does drop out, and it looks like he may have, in fact, completely dropped. Yeah.
Yeah. I am assuming it's from replay.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's not going to drop, so that was one of those phew moments. But
Yeah.
it seems like Elfi now going to secure that gateway kind of 3rd base. Basically, you just, you go for kind of greedy 3rd base, but you just manage to hold on because you have enough gateway units. Kind of a neat little thing to do, especially if you know your opponent is very, very greedy himself. Kind of forcing JonnyREcco to either get a 4th base or to basically just be very, very aggressive. So JonnyREcco right now needs those roaches. He really needs them yesterday, actually, because Elfi's getting very aggressive, and JonnyREcco kind of overdrawn a bit here, I feel, for the incoming aggression.
Johnny is actually over at the 3rd base at the same time. He was trying to put a little bit of damage on, but those zealots that warped in and a cannon, and now there's a lot of damage going down into the 3rd base of Johnny. And he doesn't have too much to defend against. It's actually all of those force fields. Very nice force fields that they were. Trying to trap in the drones, didn't quite work. Actually trapped the zealots. Now roaches are starting to get in here, and all we have are some sentries and zealots. And I'm not sure how much damage Elfi's going to be able to do here. He did have his +1 finish up, but now he's going to be facing against zealots. And he's probably going to want to get out of there so he doesn't lose all of these sentries early on. Indeed. Hopefully going to recall. It's actually our last 1 sentry, maybe a 2nd sentry here in a moment. He's going to try to get out of there, I hope, at least. That's a lot of gas to be losing if you're going to lose it.
Yeah, and there comes the recall. You just want to make sure you can outrun them a bit late, so you just lose way too many during the recall. JonnyREcco right now, though, he's kind of okay position. He's just going to drone up a bit more. He has around 60 workers, so going up to 70 should be a perfect number. Now he has to kind of put on the counter-aggression. With Elfi, though, getting those Immortals is going to be very, very hard to counteract this. And JonnyREcco, of course, knowing about this 3rd base, has to choose an answer. And right now we don't really see it, because he's not going to go for just Ling Roach all the way, I think. That would be very, very weird, to be honest. So a 4th base goes down, delaying any kind of tech for now at least, but... Either we'll see a Spire, a hard descent or infestation pit, depending on if he wants to go for Swarm Host, which would be kind of interesting, but no. Hard descent it is, and he has to be kind of aggressive on Latic in that case.
Yeah, I was almost expecting Johnny to really try to put on the pressure. Like, he went for that macro hatch fairly early on into his main base while he was only on those 3 bases. And after that kind of initial attack from Elfi didn't do a lot of damage, and also seeing that early 3rd base from the Protoss player, I almost would have expected to see Johnny try to push and put a lot of pressure on with the just kind of an overwhelming army supply, but he has chosen instead to try to take it to a later game situation. He is not getting much in the way of upgrades. He's only getting +1 armor right now. Meanwhile, +2 is finishing up here in about 20 seconds for Elfi, as well as Blink on the way, and a robo base has been put down.
Indeed so. It looks like Elfi wants to go for those Colossi quite soon. Right now, JonnyREcco is scouting around, does see the army composition, so he knows he has to be a bit careful. Though, I don't know, I think Elfi kind of has to put on the aggression here. He needs to deny one of those bases, and absolutely the 4th one. He doesn't know about it though, and since that's the case, he doesn't know about the 4th, he might not try to be as aggressive as he should be, though this creep denying is absolutely wonderful. He needs to deny as much creep as possible, while Johnny actually going for the counterattack of these roaches, and he might get something no, the recall just in the nick of time.
Yeah, the recall was nice, but it also is buying Johnny a lot of time. A lot of more units are streaming across the map. Actually, he probably wants to move back some of his roaches. Well, it's not many of his forces there. He sniped off 2 sentries, forced out 4 force fields there, and now the rest of Johnny's army is joining up with this. He gets some more roaches force fielded off. Actually, only one of them gets killed there, and now the third base is under assault by our Zerg player. He's going to probably have to back off here soon. Trying to go for the Mothership Core, it seems. Mothership Core does barely get out of there. We've seen a lot of Mothership Cores actually stay alive, but this aggression is just continuing from the Zerg player. He's got a lot of Lings rolling in here as well. Everything has +1. And behind this, he's getting a Spire. So he's looking for that transition.
He absolutely is, and I think right now he's trying to force as many sentries as possible, and he actually didn't get the force out, so that means that right now he's not going to go into those mutants because there are way too many stalkers in this composition. It's way too easy for Elfi, who in this case have the blink ready as well, to just go for a big warp in of blink stalkers and counter. Basically, we see more of the Hydras coming out, but Johnny knows this. He knows there will be Colossus incoming. He must know, right? Oh, that was a sick. Contaminate.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Well done. Delay that first Colossus from getting out for a little bit of time, which is very nice. And also, it'll also delay the second one, obviously, since he's not moving it now. So nicely done there. Just continuing to keep that high tech unit count very, very low.
Indeed, and that's the thing I was about to say though. Like Johnny knows he can't be doing this forever. Like, you can't just keep going Roach Hydra all the day long and just hope to break your opponents. And he's even getting 5 Corruptors right now. So going back to this super early Wings of Liberty style almost, which you almost never see anymore. Like, some people like to go Corruptor, but it's so easily it's so easy to counter with those 22 Blink Stalkers. I am not expecting those cards to do anything almost. So I'm not really sure what JonnyREcco's plan here is. I'm just going to sing to get a 5th base and just keep having a massive amount of units to constantly push his opponent back instead of actually having a really high tech advantage.
Yeah. Johnny definitely has a chance to just kind of continually deny any sort of 4th base coming from Elfi, but Elfi doesn't seem to care. He looks like he wants to attack. His +3 attack is finished up, and he's going to be going up against just +1/+1 for the melee. There's no actual attack upgrades for all of these range units. Some Lings, actually some Roaches, get into the main area, but they're stopped off by a nice weapon by Elfi, and now the main engagement is occurring over here. Corruptor's trying to zone out these Colossus, does kill one of them. Actually, all the Stalkers blink away from the Corruptors, so Colossus going down immediately. And now there's just a whole lot of Stalkers. Look at all those Stalkers. What's he got? 34 Stalkers against 17 Hydras, and it's just dropping, constantly dropping. And this attack is looking very scary. 34 Roaches are going to be the remax here for JonnyREcco, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold on long enough to get that. And yeah, he's going to call GG there. Elfi going to take game number 1 in this best of 3 series.